Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a cowboy summer. I said it before, and I don't know if y'all thought I was thought I was joking, but I'm dressed like a cowboy right now. If you're not watching this, if you're not watching this on YouTube, which most people aren't, but please do hit that like, comment, subscribe button on YouTube. Go do all of that stuff. Follow me on Instagram at Razzle Dangerously. Follow me on YouTube. You can find me on there. Links in all the bios, especially if you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this. All the links are below. You got to see what I'm wearing. I look Looney Tunes. I look like a cowboy. Like a cowboy. I'm dressed like a cowboy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a cowboy summer. It's not even summer. I said it before. This summer, I'm not dating this year. This year that I'm 42, so I'm just going to dress like an action figure all year round. I don't care. And I came to this realization when I was a long time ago, because I've kind of been doing this as it is when I was young. I've kind of been dressing however I want for a while. I think I got style. People say I have style. But specifically this year, I decided I'm going to amp it up. I'm going to do a Price is Right and say $101 because I got the idea. Chris Pine, the actor, he was in Star Trek, he was in Dungeons and Dragons, he was in Don't Worry Darling, he's an actor, very cool dude, very good actor. He's in a new movie that he's got coming out. I think the name is Pool Boy, and he was doing press for it. And there's been some pictures of him going around. And let me tell you, he looks silly. Chris Pine looks like an anime character from One Piece, okay? He looks like a cartoon pirate beach person, whatever. He just looks like somebody from a 90's cartoon or an anime or a comic book or just a bunch of different things on this guy, a bunch of anachronistic time zones, whatever. And he looks silly, but he also looks cool. And I saw this picture and I'm like, dude, if Chris Pine, a movie star who's promoting a movie, can not care about how he looks, then so can I. And that's why I'm dressing like a cowboy. I'm dressing like a cowboy this summer. I got a cowboy hat. I'm going to dress like a cool sailor. I got one of those white sailor hats that I put a little lightning bolt on already. I got some of these transparent loan shark tax sky visors from the 90's. Those visors. I think Sabrina Carpenter wore one in her new Espresso music video, which is a banger of a song. I got a bunch of those. I'm going to put stickers on them. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff on them. I'm going to make them look cool for me on those visor hats. And I'm just going to dress like a cartoon character all summer. I'm going to dress like an action figure. I'm going to dress like somebody from an anime. I'm going to just look like I got accessories that you could purchase I'm going to dress like a video game character where you can pay for extra downloadable content for my clothes. And those visors, here's the thing. Believe it or not, those visors, my buddy Paul, shout out to my buddy Paul, one of my best friends from back home in Bay City, Michigan. He texted me in the beginning of April, before I even saw Sabrina's video, before it came out and all this. He sent me a picture and he's like, hey, remember when we looked all over for these things? And in the late 90's, which is weird to say, it sounds funny. It was only 30 years ago, less than 30 years ago. But as an adult saying it, it sounds like it was so long ago. The 90's. It's a lot. When we're in the 20s and you say the 90's, it sounds weird. But when you're in the 90's and you say the 70's, it doesn't sound that long ago. Which is funny. Weird how time works. But my buddy Paul and I, we bought some of those long time ago. We were like, they were so weird and retro and vintage and 70s and 80s, and we're like, hey, we want to wear these one summer. And we drove around Michigan, I think, if I recall correctly, trying to find some to wear. And we found some and we wore them, and he somehow stumbled upon them in his store in Michigan in the beginning of April. Maybe they're coming back, I don't know. But they're cool, they're silly, they're cheese. But also there's something cool about being cheese. Why can't we accept being cheese? Be cheese. Hey, be cheese. Be cheesy. It's like this cowboy hat. I've said it before on here, and I say it because a friend of mine said it, but like the cowboy outfit is the most silly Halloween costume ever. It's a Halloween costume for a region because cowboys didn't dress like this. And cowboy hats, to wear a cowboy hat, I came up with this. To wear a cowboy hat, you have to, people who wear the cowboy hats are the most confident people in the world. Men who wear cowboy hats, girls look hot in cowboy hats, men look silly. So therefore, men who wear cowboy hats are the most confident people on the planet. And I'm working on my confidence this year, so I'm going to be a cowboy. Okay? I'm going to dress fucking goofy as fuck, but it's also cool as fuck. Like, come on. I mean, I know this is silly looking, but dude, don't I look like I could do some manual don't I look like I could do some manual labor? Don't I look like I could just go wrestle up some herd or go shovel some hay? I could go do some yard work. I do yard work. Blue collar chic, manual labor chic. That's what I'm going to call it, because I got some overalls and I got some one piece like factory janitor worker, you know, like some jumpsuits. I'll wear with the cowboy hat. I'll wear everything I got with the cowboy hat, because it does. I'm gonna do what Chris Pine did and just mix everything, and that's my summer. And I'm gonna dress like that. And it's funny how, like, look, I'm 42, dude. I'm just gonna. This is for people listening. This episode's for people over 38 years old, and according to my Spotify demographics, that's most of the listeners. And this is for you. This is for the people who grew up in my generation. And if you're not from that generation, let me tell you about a store that sold the goofiest, silliest shit that when I was 18, when I was 17, I thought it was cool. And as an adult, I see people wearing similar things and I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing? And I get it now. I had this epiphany today on my morning hike, my morning walk, my morning workout, the 6 a.m. club. I'm walking and I'm like, you know what? I wear goofy stuff. And I remember I see people on cosplayers and EDM people and people who go to these raves and they're wearing this goofy, silly stuff. And it made me remember a store, two stores from the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, mostly 90s, late 90s. There was a store called Gadzooks and there was a store called The Buckle. And those stores sold the goofiest clothes. Dude, they sold rave bullshit. They sold clothes for raves before all of this stuff happened even now. Maybe they were happening somewhere, but in the Midwest and small town Saginaw, Michigan, small town Bay City, Michigan, they had these stores, and I didn't know I didn't know about these things. I just thought these were cool clothes. Dude, they had these pants at Gadzooks that I wanted, but they were too expensive. And they were plastic ass, baggy ass, glow in the dark cargo pants. That's some silly shit. And I wanted them because they looked rock and roll and they looked cool and they looked hip or whatever. Would I wear them now? Probably. I'd probably sweat the fuck out of them. Like I used to have leather pants because I like that kind of shit too. And I can't wear them because there's zero breathing. Babes who wear leather pants, you get all the flowers, because I've worn them before and they're not comfortable and they're a pain to take off because they're all sticky and everything. And that's what Gadzooks was. And the Buckle had, dude, I had a shirt from the Buckle that was like this green and it was like a felt. And dude, and I'm this skinny ass kid and I think I was a sophomore in high school wearing this thing, trying to be hip and cool and like dude, the Buckle sold clothes for like what the pick-up artists wore on that VH1 show. That's how cheese. Like think like leopard print. The Buckle sold like cowboy hats that were like felt leopard print. Like that's some silly shit. That's shit that they wear now to, the Electronic Daisy Festival and things like that. And yes, they're silly and goofy, but you know what? The people that wear them feel good about themselves and they feel like they look cool. And that's what matters. Make yourself feel cool. This year for me is about, sure, I'm going to make fun of people. I'm going to make fun of things, but I'm doing it with kindness. I'm doing it with a love because I get it and I appreciate you for being you, right? I appreciate anybody who can be themselves and be comfortable doing it. Now, I may think you look silly. I may poke fun about how you're wearing high-waisted, high pants, like where's the flood, like showing off your socks, like some dudes wear short pants. I wear short shorts, but some dudes wear like slacks that are like this high off the ground, and they're not like joggers. They're like whatever. They're like Huck Finn pants, but they're not knickers. But they're also like whatever they're called, knickerbockers. They're not. They don't. They're not joggers. They're just high pants, and I think they look silly. But dudes wear them, and good on you. I'm not judging you. I don't think I'm better than you. I may think it looks silly, but I'm wearing a cowboy hat, and that was a time, dude. Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about yo-yos. There was a time in the 90s, in the late 90s, where you couldn't go to a shopping mall and not almost get hit in the face with a yo-yo. Dude, yo-yos were everywhere. Now, look, I get it. Yo-yos have been around forever, almost a long time. Yo-yos have been around forever. They're always coming back and popular, etc. But in the late 90s, dude, there were kiosks, these little tiny stores, tiny little shops, everywhere. Every 20 feet in a shopping mall, there was another kiosk trying to sell a different kind of a yo-yo, a light-up yo-yo, a spin yo-yo. Hey, this yo-yo can spin for hours, and there were like special yo-yos with special ball bearings and things like that. And dude, there were people in my high school, that had every kind of yo-yo. And these were expensive yo-yos, okay? It was such a fad. It was insane. You couldn't, everywhere you went in a yo-yo, in a shopping mall, if you went to every store, dude, Spencer's, Gadzooks, The Buckle, Hot Topic, back before it was, I'm talking about Hot Topic when it was like goth and grimy and gross and not this glossy, shiny Hello Kitty stuff. I'm talking about a time in the late 90s where shopping malls had just flying objects everywhere, retracting and back and forth. Dude, it was, yo-yos were invented as a weapon, by the way, and it felt like that, dude. And the shopping malls were full of them. And that's for my people who remember that. I got to tell you, that was a time. And that was also a wholesome time. That was before the smartphone. That was before a lot of things. And that was wild, dude. That was a cool time, dude. And that was a time, when I was younger. That was for my people my age. That's for my people my age who remember that. People my age. People who are adults. People who shouldn't be having beefs. We got to talk about adult beefs, okay? And I'm including Taylor Swift with Kim Kardashian. I'm including Drake and Kendrick Lamar, okay? Taylor Swift is an adult. She's 35, I believe, or turning 35 this year. And I think she turned 35 last year. I think she's turning 36 this year. Doesn't matter. I love Taylor Swift. You know I'm a fan. By my cover art of this podcast, by the name of the podcast, I'm a Swiftie. But you're an adult, babe. Stop caring about what Kim Kardashian did to you in 2016. Beefs? Adults shouldn't have beefs. Adults can have people you don't like. Adults can have people you just don't need to fraternize with. Boundaries. But when adults have feuds and high school beefs, I was at a party last night and we were talking with some friends of mine, and I'm like, it's weird how LA adults are getting more and more high school. I have friends of mine that are acting high school. I have friends of mine that don't like other friends or won't let other friends be invited to things because guys that they know hooked up with they're friends with other girls, and dude, it's high school where it's like, well, this girl hooked up with this guy, and this girl likes this guy, so she's intimidated, so we can't invite this girl to this thing. And we're adults. We are adults. And it's acting high school. And I'm like, dude, this is insane. This is adults, unless it's like wrestling where it's like a fake feud and a fake beef and we're calling each other out silliness. Unless Kendrick Lamar and Drake are pulling a work over on us, where that's a wrestling term where it's like it's a fake thing, kayfabe type of a thing, right? Where they're just doing these diss tracks to sell their own records and to be relevant in a time where they might not be, which if you listen to them, they seem very relevant, because I was making fake diss track videos and the comments were hilarious with people acting like they know all about it. And unless it's fake, great. But they're too old to be having a rap feud. If you're 20 having a rap feud, I'll give it to you. You're 23, you're 24, you're trying to make a name for yourself. It's like when Machine Gun Kelly came after Eminem, but now he's an adult and he's not doing that because he realizes as an adult, adults shouldn't have beefs. And adults shouldn't be acting like high school kids, dude. And it's just so funny to me how it seems, at least especially in Los Angeles, and I don't know if it's just the internet, I don't know what it is, dude, but people my age or in their 30s, people, let's say 35 and over, are starting to act way more high school than they should be. And it's just so silly to me. It's so fucking bananas. Like, it's one thing to have boundaries. It's one thing to, oh, okay, I don't like this person. That's fine. But do you know how many people I don't like? There's not many. I don't hate a lot of people. I try my hardest to have not that kind of energy in myself. There are people I don't care for. There are people who just rub me the wrong way. There are people whose energies I don't care for and I don't wish to associate with or be around. Okay? But some of those people are also friends with people that I care about. Somehow or another, my friends are fine with it. Whatever, to each their own. Whatever floats your boat. But it's not for me. But you know what I can do? I can be an adult and I can be cool with them. When I see them out in public or I see them at an event, I can be cordial and I can be cool because I'm an adult and I know how to pretend and I know how to not cause a ruckus. And I know how to treat people with respect. Regardless of what I think of them, I can respect everybody. I can treat everybody with respect. And I think that's one thing that everybody should be able to do. And I think that's one thing that people should work on. And I don't think adults should have high school feuds where, oh, I like this guy and he slept with this girl and he slept with this other girl, but he never slept with me. So let's not invite those two girls to this party or function that we're having when we're all friends. Allegedly. And it's just the hypocrisy in adults in my generation and millennials. Dude, millennials are, and look, I say you can't escape, I've always said you can't escape hypocrisy. And that's twofold. One, you can't escape it because if you're truly growing as a human, your opinions and ideas are going to change and grow and you're going to learn and you're going to think differently than you did in the past. So you and yourself should consistently be a hypocrite of some faction, right? We should always grow and change our opinion or outlook the more we learn and the more we experience, which would then mean our past self, we are a hypocrite to our past self, but in theory, we're completely different than our past selves. Ourselves, we're a whole different person than our self was 20 years ago because our cells and our structure and our bones and our atoms and our everything is all replicating and different. We have completely different skin than we did 20 years ago. And hypocrisy can be good in that regard. But hypocrisy can also be very silly in some things that millennials in my generation, millennials, and even a little bit younger, we shit on boomers and we make fun of boomers and we make fun of a lot of whatever. We make fun of old people. Oh, fuck you, da-da-da, you're ruining the world and all that stuff. But guess what? So are we. We're turning into boomers. Everybody's like, oh, boomers just sit on Facebook and believe everything they see on Facebook and repost fake news. And I'm like, dude, you shared a story on TikTok that was fake. We're doing the same thing. Only it might not be Facebook, but it's on Instagram and it's on TikTok. And we believe everything on the internet, just like some of these fake Taylor Swift videos I post. And adults are like, holy cow, I didn't believe this. I can't believe this is a thing. And I'm like, dude, it's fake. Taylor Swift's not writing a song about Dog the Bounty Hunter. And adults are believing it and sharing it. And I'm glad they do because I'm making it for jokes and I'm making things in jest and to be silly. But also, people are of that generation, and I'm generalizing, but people of that generation are still shitting on boomers for doing the same thing about politics or whatever because it's on Facebook. And it's like, dude, everybody does the same thing. Everybody believes everything that's on the internet. And if you believe everything on the internet, you'll be a happier person. Ignorance is bliss, which is why I started believing everything I read on the internet. I stopped reading the news and I started believing everything I read on the internet, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. And we're just turning into boomers. We're turning into, my generation is turning into our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation. We are turning into the people that are like, get off my lawn. We are turning into the people who 20 years ago were like, why are they doing yard work at 7 in the morning? Because that's the free time I have to do it. That's the time on the weekends where I can do it. I need to do it at 7 a.m. in the morning because I got chores to do. Because I'm an adult and I have a to-do list on the weekend that I need to achieve. We're turning into the adults. We are going to be boomers before we know it. We won't be Karens, but we'll be the Britneys. We'll be the, whoever Karen's daughters are, we're going to be that. That's our generation. Our millennials. If you're over 35, if you're over 38 years old, 38 to 50, 38 to 45, people who throw around the word Karen and all blah, 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 that's going to be us in 6 years if it's not already us now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we already complain about Gen Z or people doing this and that, and look at all these things. And that's us. We just do it differently. It's gonna be this. Everything's the same. Nothing is new. Everything's been done before. Rinse and repeat. Time is a flat circle, and so is this podcast. This podcast is a flat circle, and I want to thank you all for watching or listening. Once again, I appreciate you if you've made it this far, and I want to thank you for supporting. Give me a review. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Go comment on my @RazzleDangerously. Go share some things. Help me grow those numbers up. Go to my TikTok @MyNameIsRazzle. All the links are below in this. If you've listened to this, wherever you're listening to this, look at I have all the links listed below here. Go follow. Go give me some support. Help me get my numbers up. Help me get my views up. Help me get my subscribers up. Let's really try and push some things this year, career-wise and personal-wise. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. It's May. Summer's here almost. 2 months away. I hope you're doing okay. I hope if you are whoever is listening to this, I'm talking to you specifically listening to this. You can do it. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a healthy and blessed month. And I thank you for everything. And I hope you know that there are people that love you. And there are, you can achieve, most things if you put your mind to it and if you work hard. And if you pick one thing, like I talked about last week, like pick a thing. Let's pick a thing and let's go with it. And check the food expiration date in your refrigerator, put your shopping carts away, and tell your friends. And if there's something you don't like, leave it in the comments.